I began to be there, and I'm on the stage, the largest youth ministry in North America. I was about 27 at the time, and I had hit a part in my ministry career 7 years in where a lot of people would be like, yo, this is it.
Yeah.
But I was so empty. I remember going to the basement of First Baptist Church of Glenarden and listening to Lecrae's Don't Waste Your Life While I Cried.
Wow.
Because it wasn't that I was wasting my life with the students, in as much as that God gave me a burden for my disenfranchised brothers in DC.
Yes, man. DJ Wado here, Brooklyn, New York, live at John Rockin' with Mr. Devin Turner.
What's up?
Pastor Devin Turner. One day I'm going to be saying Bishop Devin Turner.
See, there you go.
This is my brother right here, man.
Yeah, for sure, man. For sure.
Man, it's good to see you, brother.
You too, man. How you been?
You look like you put on a couple with Thanksgiving, brother.
I'm trying to
I'm messing with you.
I'm trying to bulk up a little, but it ain't working, though. I'm a pescatarian. The fish don't stick to me like
fish don't stick, man.
Fish don't stick, man.
Yo, bro, you got one of the most disciplined eating habits. We did his life tour in Tampa. The way this brother is so disciplined with his eating, I was like, yo, we need to get some more tour dates so I can lose the rest of this gut, bro. Real talk.
So we the smoothie dudes, man.
That's
we
it.
both love the smoothies, vegetables. I'm a fish guy though, man. That's all I can eat with the fish.
You be on that fish hard.
Got to, man. It's keep me healthy, dog.
You be on that fish hard. I mean, listen, what Jesus used when he had to feed 5,000 people.
It, dog. It was the fish.
Fish and bread, bro. Fish and bread, man.
You got to, man.
Man, so look, bro, you got so much stuff going on. Obviously, we've been doing these life tour dates.
Yeah.
You got Revolution Church.
Yeah.
You got a new project you about to release.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you decide which one of these we talking about first.
Like pick one, dog.
Pick one, man. Which one? Where are we going first, man?
Let's talk about the album first.
Let's
talk
man.
about the music.
Okay, so we need a title. What's the title for it?
Album's called Luminary.
Luminary, man.
Yeah.
Luminary. What's the concept behind that?
Luminary is a light, man. Being a light in darkness, man. So the idea is that I want to be a luminary. I want to be a light in the culture,
Sure.
a light in the music, and I want to encourage everybody to do the same. You know. So I thought about it, man. My boy Angus, shout out to Angus. He grew up in North Carolina, and he was like, man, we used to have these luminaries. I'm like, what is that? He's like, well, there's these little lamps, man, with a little candle that'd be right there on the ground. And as far as the eye could see in the neighborhood, everybody's got their light lit in the darkness.
Wow.
I said, yo.
So that's what they had instead of street lights.
I mean, they had street lights, but at night they would do this around Christmas time. And I was like, yo, so everybody would light their lamps, and everybody could see the way, the pathway. I said, dog, you preaching, dog. I said,
that's the album right there.
So the album's called Luminary, man, and that's what it's about, being light, dog. So,
hey, I can tell you that title song go hard too, though.
Yeah. We've been doing it on the tour a little bit, yeah.
That title song go hard, man.
Yeah, man.
That's good, man. What do you want people to get from the project?
Yeah, man. From the project, I want people to get ultimately the message of hope in Christ.
Sure.
You know, every time I do music, I want people to connect with the gospel on some level, and I'm being real transparent on the record too. Yeah, I'm a pastor, but before I'm a pastor, I'm a disciple of Christ. Before I'm a disciple of Christ, I'm a man. You know, I'm going back to the layers of myself, and so it's like I'm a man. I bleed like you bleed.
Yep.
My life ain't perfect. You know, I got struggles, so I'm dealing with everything from my struggles with lust to my struggles to honor Christ in areas I need to be honoring, to be a better father, to just being a good steward of my time and my finances. Like, I'm dealing with a whole bunch of stuff, so I want people to get out of it that life is going to bring you struggles with darkness trying to come pull you down, but through it all, be a luminary. Burst through that joint and let that light shine.
You know, man, I'm going to tell you what's amazing about that, bro.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think that traditionally in Christian rap, all those different types of topics would get addressed. Transparent topics like, you know, what you mentioned.
Yeah.
And still encouraging people to be a luminary.
Yeah.
And it's almost like you're finding this way to keep a consistent Christ-centered message while still bearing all your scars for people to see and encouraging them to, you know what I'm saying, do what God's calling us all to do.
Man, I think we got to. I think too many times we try to give people the ideal scenario.
Yep.
Not that we struggle, not that we suffer.
Yep.
And so, you know, like I got a track called Giving In, where I'm talking about giving in to sin.
Yep.
You know, I'm married, I love my wife, man, but I keep running back to this same struggle, man. I'm looking at women I shouldn't be looking. I'm entertaining certain things. I'm wrestling with this thing.
And you saying that as a pastor?
As a pastor. Let's keep it 1,000, man. We all human beings. I need Christ like everybody else. So bearing that, and on the other hand, I got a song called "Ode to the Martyrs," where I'm saluting all the saints that got killed for the faith. So it's like one song, I'm being transparent, showing you, hey man, I'm here. I understand where you at. Another side is, let's rally up and let's get our faith up like the martyrs, dog. Are you willing to die for the Christ? You know what I'm saying? So it's just all that in the album to help you be a light. Hopefully it helps.
Man, that's cool. I mean, what like musically, I mean, obviously me and you talk about this all the time, but you know, just for people that they're new to the Devin Turner ministry, musically, like what have been some of your influences? And in particular, what helped influence this project musically?
Man, my musical influences, bro. Love Cross Movement.
Sure.
Shout out to Cross Movement.
You was just rapping some Tonic lyrics before we.
I was just rapping
Tonic Hero.
Solo Cristo, dog. I was just trying to. I was giving them a Cross Movement quiz.
Hey, look. I'm gonna be honest. I failed that joint. I didn't even recognize the lyrics for that joint.
Oh man, the Heaven's Mentality, classic record. You know, those are some of the dudes I really respect.
Sure.
Really helped me when I was a teenager, growing in the faith. You know, other artists that I look up to and admire, man. I love Eshawn Burgundy. I love Sho Baraka. I love artists that have something to say, man. You know, so sometimes even in our genre, there are guys that have a dope beat, but it doesn't really resonate with my spirit or my soul. Like the joint should have a dope beat. It should be able to turn up, and this is my opinion, right? I'm not telling other artists what to do with their music. In my opinion, when a listener cuts on our music and we're believers, the Bible says from the overflow of the heart, the mouth speaks, right? So what's in your heart gonna come out. So if all you rapping about is X, Y, Z, and the Bible's talking about ABC, it should be more ABC coming out of your junk right here. You know what I'm saying? Not that you got to be doing a sermon, but even if you talk about your life, it should come from that Christian view, that heart for God. You know what I'm saying? So with all that being said, it's a few dudes I really rock with on the iPod, you know, and those are just some of the brothers. There's more, you know what I'm saying? You know, I love Propaganda. I love some other brothers. Now, what influenced this record for me, man, James Brown.
Really?
Michael Jackson. I'm serious, man. I went through Spotify. When I was working on this album, I listened to a whole lot of old soul music, man. I love soul. I love Sho Baraka's album, man. You know, shout out to Sho, the narrative, man. I mean, the live instrumentation. So you know, cause I love that. So I had like real bass players come in.
I was going to say you incorporated some of that.
Oh yeah, I got real bass players coming in. I got an opera singer came in on the record. And sister went to school for she went to Berkeley for opera. She came in and sang.
Berkeley for opera.
She went to Berkeley.
That ain't even just some run of the mill joint.
Yeah. She went to a music conservatory in Berkeley. She's singing on the joint. So I try to bring authenticity because I'm listening to James. I'm like, I don't want no synthesized guitar. I want a real guitar.
You want a real joint.
You know, so I'm listening to Michael Jackson, you know what I'm saying, Thriller, the Thriller album on repeat. And I'm hearing the soul, I'm hearing the funk. I'm hearing that. So some of that's in there. I got this one song that's got funk, soul, and trap all in it. I had a
You've been holding out these records on me, son. I'm over here like, yo, like how come I ain't heard this yet?
I got a funk guitar player on it. I got a soul bass player on it, and I got a trap percussion under it, and it just works, you know. So those are some of my influences, man. Just you know, it's others I could say, but I really love authentic music. I love Kendrick stuff. I'm a Tupac fan. I love Pac stuff, and when I talk about it, the transparency. Sometimes rappers rap their ideal. I get girls, I get clothes, I get cars.
Even if they ain't getting it, right?
You ain't getting nothing, dog. You ain't got nothing, dog. I seen you in Walmart shopping with me. You know what I'm saying? You ain't balling, dog. You ain't balling, dog. So, I'm sorry, we all in an interview, man. We be talking like this all the time.
Right.
I forgot the cameras. It don't matter. I meant everything I said. But I mean, but the reality is, I love artists like Kendrick and Pac that show that transparency. And I know some of Pac's later work wasn't as uplifting, but some of his earlier work, the transparency and the let's bring up our people. I love that stuff, man. We can use our gifts as artists and our platforms to help our community instead of hinder.
Yeah.
And so, those are some of my influences, man. So,
yeah, that was probably his biggest contributions to the game, in my opinion.
But,
when is this coming out?
Man, Luminary's coming out early 2017, the early quarter of 2017.
There you go.
We working on marketing it and branding it right. And we doing Life Tour still. We're going to be taking that Life Tour from 2016 on into 2017.
Bro, I'm so excited about the Life Tour, though.
Can we talk about Life Tour a little bit?
Let's talk about
Let's
it,
do
man.
that, man.
Let's talk about it, bro. I mean, this was your baby, and I got to tell you, it's been a blessing to be a part of it.
Amen.
But like, what kind of sparked it? Because it's a different model than the normal artist tour that you see typically going out.
Man, Life Tour basically has 3 goals.
Yeah.
To evangelize, entertain, and equip. That's it. And so I had this vision in 2012 to go do these free evangelistic concerts around the country. And I began to journal and draft and pray and plan and plot. And sometimes God will give you a vision, but he's got to give you that provision for the vision he's giving you. And it takes time. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't ready to do it in 2012. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But where my family is now and how my sons are older, they're 6 now. I got twin sons. They're 6, where my wife is, where we are, where I am as a pastor, the time I have now to devote to music, the timing was perfect. And so with those 3 goals in mind, I hollered at you, man. I said, wait, I'm thinking about doing this free concert tour where there are churches that want to sponsor us going into disenfranchised communities to help healthy churches bring in youth and young adults to get discipled. And you was like, I'm down.
Yeah.
And so...
I mean, who wouldn't want to do that, though?
Right, who wouldn't, right? And so we've been blessed to hit up D.C.
Yeah.
We went to Tampa.
Tampa was amazing.
Tampa was dope.
D.C. was amazing.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
and we average about 200 people coming out, and about a tenth of the crowd makes decisions for Christ every time. A tithe of the crowd makes a decision for Christ. And it's got the free food, it's got giveaways, and we partner with these healthy churches. And so we evangelize when we share the gospel, we entertain when we do our set, and we equip by our app. We have an app, it's on Apple, Android phones. It's called Disciples Through Media. Through is THRU. And on that app, you can grow spiritually. So we put that on the screen. So after the kids make decisions for Christ, on the screen, we point them to healthy churches in their city. We help them grow spiritually. And we want to see them continue on in the faith. So we don't want to just come in and just share the gospel, have fun, eat pizza, free stuff. We out. Next city. We want to help you get connected to a healthy church and help you grow on your app on the phone. So that's kind of the vision. And man, I see it's some more cities, man, that's interested, man. So by God's grace, the tour dates will keep coming in 2017.
Yeah, I feel like, man, like, one of the things that attracted me to that was, one, again, it's different, but it's so ministry minded. Like we. In some cases, I think because this has become such an industry, and there's nothing wrong with industry at all. Like, I got a master's degree in business, so there's nothing wrong with industry. But I think it can become such an industry at times that things like partnering with local churches to do certain things and bring people in and disciple and evangelize doesn't become as big a priority at times. And I just got to be honest with you, bro. Like, I haven't hopped on a whole lot of tours. Yeah. And it was almost like immediately as you were saying this, I mean, I didn't know how many cities we was going to go to. We hadn't even talked about finances and all of that. But I was like, yo, I need to be a part of something. Like, I'm down, bro. Like, because that's, you know what I mean? That's what it's all about at the end of the day.
It's more than music, right? It's ministry, man. It's ministry.
At the end of the day, brother. Yeah. So, shout out to Pastor Tommy, man. Allowing us to do it down there.
Hey, look.
Crossover, man.
You zooming on that?
Oh, wow.
It's Urban D. You see
I didn't even realize that. That's love right there.
This is from his album, Revolution.
That's love right there. My
church is called Revolution Church. And it matches my outfit. So I said, let me rep Tommy. Urban D, legend, and a good friend of mine.
It's crazy, bro. I've always known how much he's done for our community. When we were down there, bro. I'm like, will this guy ever really get the credit that he deserves,
Yeah.
and the honor that he deserves for all the leaders that he's trained, all the people he's discipled, all the church plants he's inspired, like all these different things, bro. Like this dude, I mean, even just his wall in his office, man.
Yeah, I saw that. Dog.
I'm like, I don't know if there's anybody that loves Christian hip hop more than Urban D,
right,
bro.
Right.
I don't know.
Exactly, dog.
Yeah, man. He's put a lot into the game, man.
He's a beast.
Yeah,
Shout out to Tommy, man.
Put a lot into the game, brother. A whole lot, man. So let's talk about Revolution Church, man.
Let's talk about it
while we're here, man. Church plant you started in DC, a couple years ago, man, and just. I mean, bro, like, how has that been planting in D.C., man?
Yeah. Well, you know, I was a youth pastor for 7 years
at
a mega church in Maryland called Zion Church. Shout out to Pastor Keith Battle, my pastor. And they brought 2 youth ministries together from 2 mega churches.
Wow.
Zion Church and First Baptist Church of Glen Arden brought their youth ministries together and called it Merge.
Wow.
So
who said churches can't work together, though?
They can work together. 2 mega churches at that.
Right.
And so I was a youth pastor at Zion, and we came together with the youth ministry of Glen Arden, and we formed a youth ministry called Merge. And in 2011, when we started, we were the largest youth ministry in North America. It's about 4,000 people coming. And
my God,
it was just so packed, but it was so hard to disciple that many people.
Yeah.
And so I was a discipleship coordinator. That was one of the hats I wore, and just trying to help all the teenagers that were there to get connected to Christ and help disciple them was very difficult. And so I began to be there, and I'm on the stage, the largest youth ministry in North America. I was about 27 at the time, and I had hit a part in my ministry career 7 years in where a lot of people would be like, yo, this is it.
Yeah.
But I was so empty. I remember going to the basement of First Baptist Church of Glen Arden and listening to Lecrae's Don't Waste Your Life While I Cried.
Wow.
Because it wasn't that I was wasting my life with the students in as much as that God gave me a burden for my disenfranchised brothers in D.C. And so the burden grew and grew to the point where I fasted and prayed about it. And the Lord told me it's time for you to leave Zion Church and to go plant Revolution Church.
Wow.
And so with my pastor's blessing, Keith Battle.
How hard was that, though? Because, again, you're at what many people would say is the mountaintop.
Sure.
The pinnacle.
Yeah.
And they say, yo, I'm a leave and go to an uncertain situation. Because I feel like God is calling me there.
It was easy because I had this peace of God.
Sure.
I fasted and prayed with my wife, and that's very important. If you're ever making a major decision and you're married, you got to get your wife with you. You got to be praying together and seeking God together. I couldn't have left my job and moved into the hood if my wife wasn't on board. But we were in flow with what God was doing. Yeah. And it was easy, man, because I knew God called me to Ward 7 in D.C., and that's where we moved. But
so you live in the community you pastor in?
I live in the community where I pastor in, man. You know, every now and then we hear some gunshots, and we hear the ghetto bird looking for somebody. It causes us to pray. But we're there in the community, man. We've been there 3.5 years now, living in the community. And the church is 2.5 years old. So we moved in about a year before we planted the church. And it's been a great journey, man. Like I said, I had the support of my pastor, and we went, man, and we've been making disciples and helping up people to just grow spiritually, man, in the community. It's been a real blessing, man. So
for people who have never been a part of a church plant, like myself, what are some of the biggest challenges that you face as a pastor that people like me wouldn't even think, like, oh, wow?
Well, the first question was, one of the first questions was, where are we going to worship? Yeah. We didn't have a building. I'm like, okay, God, you called me here, so I'm driving around D.C., praying, knocking on doors, asking schools, asking principals, hey, can we worship in here? Making phone calls. People are closing doors. People aren't responding. And then we found a community center in the neighborhood, and they opened their doors up for us. And we've been in there, man. We've been in there for 2.5 years, man. So that was one of the things. Most of y'all have never woken up on a Sunday and said, I wonder where we're going to worship today. Yeah. And that was one of our big questions. And I remember when we first started, man, our first Sunday, man, we had 144 people come out.
Wow.
But when you plant a church, you never really.
Were you in that community center at that point?
Yeah.
Oh, you were in the, okay.
But you're not supposed to count the first Sunday because a lot of people come to support you.
Yeah.
For your first one. First Sunday we had 144 people. Second Sunday we had 50.
Oh wow. Wow.
Third Sunday we had about 40.
Wow.
And that's when
so you was like, yo, we going in the wrong direction right now.
And I had some
obviously
Sundays,
you're not in that space now though.
Nah, yeah. Man. I mean, we've seen people come and be consistent and stay. But honestly, some people come and don't return, and so we're still working as a church on ways to engage our first-time guests and second-time guests, and just really invite people out more to fellowship and to get plugged in. But yeah, man, it got so discouraging a couple of those first Sundays. Sure. But then the Lord reminded me, stop focusing on the empty chairs. Focus on the people that are there, and disciple them and grow them up. Because a lot of people want a big
sermon
fight.
Right there, brother. Don't focus on the empty chairs. Focus on the people that's there.
But I mean, a lot of people might want a big ministry, but I had just left that.
Yeah.
So I wasn't sweating it. I wasn't tripping. I was like, yo, if I'm supposed to under shepherd 30 people, let's go.
Yeah.
And that 30 kept growing and growing and growing, man. So we're blessed to have the people we have, and we're still doing outreaches. We're still making disciples. We're starting a foundations class for new believers. So we're just trying to do what we can, do our part. And I'm not chasing the big numbers, man. Yeah. I'm chasing fruit, man.
Yeah.
Because if I have a capacity to pastor 85 people healthily, then Lord, may I do well with the 85.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to like, and sometimes some church planners, you know, I'm not a part of a church planning network, and I'm not dissing people that are. I'm not dissing church planning networks. But sometimes there's pressure from regional directors of church planning networks to like get the numbers up.
Get your numbers up.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. You still got 60? Come on, man. You guys been there for 2 years. Come on. Let's get in. Yeah. And sometimes what that can do, it can put undue pressure and stress on the pastor, and it can cause some dudes to start preaching certain messages to get people in the building. And I'm not saying that's the goal of the church planning networks, but I'm just saying the byproduct of that pressure could be dudes going to do whatever they got to do to get people to stay. And sometimes that may lead to dudes teaching false gospel because people like to hear what their itching ears want to hear. So you can pack out your room, but if it's packed out with a large crowd of Christians, but it's only a few disciples, you have to ask yourself, are you doing what Christ really called you to do? Because everybody wants to be a Christian, but how many people want to be followers of Christ, disciples, man? Jesus said a disciple is three things. There's 3 price tags for a disciple. He said you got to hate everybody else in comparison to your love for me. You got to be willing to give up everything that you own, and you got to be willing to die for me, socially or even physically. And when you're preaching like that, you may or may not pack out a room. Yeah. But if you're teaching that gospel, you're teaching to make disciples, you're being faithful, God will honor your labor.
That's good, bro. That's really good, man. Who have been some of your influences ministry-wise? You know what I'm saying? Aside from the music.
Sure.
And obviously, I mean, you know, your pastor, Keith Battle, you shouted him out.
Sure.
So obviously him, but like, just who have been some of your influences, man?
I love Andy Stanley.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just a solid dude. Bro. I love
his leadership podcast gives me so much
if you're visioneering and you're looking and leading, I love Andy Stanley, man. I love Andy Stanley. I mean, he's a beast. I love Bill Hybels.
Yep.
It's just some solid dudes out there, man, that really, really authentically teach God's word and understand that you don't have to have the traditionalism, but you can still be doctrinally sound and connect to people in the 21st century.
Yeah.
I love brothers like that, man. Those guys are some of the biggest guys that influence me. There are others, man, but I really love their ministry styles and how they lead their church. And Tabidi Anyabwile. Got to shout out my homie Tabidi.
Hey, you got his name right, too. You pronounced it right, too.
I got to pronounce it, y'all. I got to pronounce it. Got to shout out Tabidi Anyabwile. That's my dude. I love him. We're both in the same city. We both, pastor and you know, we connect pretty regularly. And he's a solid dude that's got a great heart for Christ. And I love what he's doing at Anacostia River Church too.
Yeah.
So those are some of the pastors that inspire me and that I really admire. So,
that's good, man. That's good, man. So, Devin, you got the album coming out.
Yep.
You got church every Sunday.
Yeah.
Give them a website that we could put right here.
It is
for people to, you know what I'm saying?
DevinTurner.org. It should be coming up like right there somewhere.
Boom.
DevinTurner.org right there. You can see everything you want to see about me, from music to the church, to anything, man. Everything's there. Everything's there.
This brother's album is called Luminary, but he's also a visionary. He's got so much stuff going on. Hey, that's why I said give him one website, because he got several.
I do have several.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
But DevinTurner.org will take you to everything: my clothing line, my music, and the preaching and everything. Yeah.
See? And he ain't even talk about the other businesses, but I'm gonna you know what I mean? I'm gonna let my man live, man. Appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate you. Thank you, bro. Thank you.
Wado Radio.